M123fm, we're in studio with Lori Stokes. Lori, welcome.
Thank you.
Lori last night won the village president position with the village. So tell us a little bit how yesterday went for you.
Well, yesterday I was like a bundle of nerves, pins and needles all day long. Tried to keep busy making soup, paying bills, the normal everyday thing, just to keep the mind occupied. And as the day progressed and had some friends and family come over and we sat and we waited for the results, and we waited and we waited and we
Right.
waited a little longer until finally they showed up, and we were very happy, very pleased. I thank everyone that voted for me yesterday, and there was such great turnouts at the polls. And whether you voted for me or not, I think the turnout at the polls indicated that the citizens of our community care a lot of what's going on, and they have a great interest in the local government. I want to be that voice for those people. I want them to know that they can count on me to listen to them and try to take care of their problems for them, and that they made a good choice by placing their trust in me to speak for them.
Right. So out of the gate, I mean, I'm sure you've already had some ideas and things that you would like to present to the council. What is it that right after you're sworn in that you would like to work on?
Right. Well, it's imperative that we act quickly and tend to business. There's several issues. We've got the 2019 budget that has to be prepared, and it has to be looked at very carefully. We need to cut that budget down as much as we can, and then it has to be, presented to the public by the end of the year. I don't want to wait into January, February, March, whenever. I want to see it done by the end of the year. That is financially responsible to do it that way.
Right.
Our residents deserve that.
Over the past year or so, there seems to be a disconnect between village management, the village council, with the residents. How do you plan on building that bridge of trust again?
Well, trust between I and the residents, or
the council as a whole.
the council as a whole. I think it looks like we've got a great council that got voted in. We have one person sitting from the past that will remain, and then there's 2 vacancies. I'm hoping that I and the new council will get the opportunity to appoint those people into those vacancies. And I just think that if we can sit down at that table and work together as a group for the common goal of the good of our village, leave our personal feelings aside, we can disagree at that table and get up from that table and go about and carry on. It doesn't have to be a grudge match. It doesn't have to be a fight. We all ran for the common goal of representing our residents and working for our village. And if we keep that goal in mind, I would like to think that we can get some things done. We're inheriting a financial quagmire.
Right.
And there's going to be a lot of tough decisions out there that have to be made. I don't have all the answers. I'm going to be counting on the other people sitting at that table and the residents out there to help direct us.
Right. So there's an issue with Pentland between the water and sewer. How do you see moving forward that your involvement in clearing the way so that things can move forward there?
Right. Well, I think level heads have to prevail. We have to leave past hurt feelings out. We have to maybe start fresh. New, fresh faces at the table might help. Everybody has to approach it with open minds. And hopefully we can see a way to get out of this terrible red deficit we've gotten into with the village. We can't hold off any longer on the decision that has to be made. I sat on the council way very back in the very beginning, the first time this was all brought to the legal table with both McMillan Township and Pentland Township, and it cost a lot of money.
Right.
It did not help any party involved, because at the end of it, the village said, "Oh, the decision was in our favor." The township says, "Oh, the decision was in our favor," and so nobody saw any kind of reprieve from it, other than it costing a lot of money and the attorneys made that money.
Right. Seems like we're still in that same position.
So now here we are, a decade or more later, it's still in the same situation. There's got to be some answer out there. I don't have it now. I may never have it, but I'm willing to look for it, and I'm willing to work with people to try to find the answer.
Right, right. Is there anything else you'd like to say? I mean, to those who voted for you, or even to those who did not vote for you,
Right.
you know?
You're right. Well, I have sent an email to Mr. DeWitt, the acting president. I sent it this morning requesting that he schedule a special sessions meeting on the 20th, when that is the date the state has set that elected officials can take office. So we need to be sworn in, and like I said, we need to hit the bricks running. We've got the audit issues, we've got the budget issues that have to be taken care of immediately. We can't waste any time on that. So I am hoping he will go along and do the right thing and schedule that meeting for the 20th. Again, the completed 2019 audit done by the Department of Treasury. If you're interested in looking that up, you can go on the Treasury website, and it's a little maneuvering to get through it, but eventually you'll come to where the local audit reports are. And we've received some major directives that must be seen to as soon as possible. If we don't get those directives taken care of, and if we don't make the Treasury Department happy with the answers, and our village manager was hired to oversee all of that. Ultimately, she is the responsible party to oversee those directives and make sure that the Treasury's happy. But we're at risk of not receiving our revenue sharing, and that won't be a pretty picture. But we have to make sure that Treasury's happy, the directives are taken care of. The village can't afford to be lax any longer. We need to get on that. The administrative staff that was hired to see to these responsibilities ultimately need to step up to the plate and get their jobs done. We just can't afford any more excuses. And the budget, we have to budget money and tighten the purse strings with our personal finances when necessarily, and the same has to be done with the village finances.
Right.
We're not a wealthy community, and money has to be stretched, and ways have to be found to cut costs. The residents are now the ones hemorrhaging money. We got that report from Plant Moran there a year or so ago. Oh, the village is hemorrhaging money. Well, now we've turned around. We placed that on our residents. They can't afford anymore. And I don't see where there's an end in sight. Now they're talking about perhaps a raise in the sewer rates to cover that deficit. Some middle ground has to be found.
Right.
You know. And I just want to let you know I'll endeavor to do my best in keeping everyone informed and up to date on the happenings within the village offices. It should be a new, fresh look. Because most of the time we're all wondering, what are they doing? How is that decision made? When was that decided? You know, nobody knows where this is all being done at. And I would like to look at maybe having a monthly coffee hour, perhaps at the village offices, where people can just drop in at their leisure and we'll talk about things, discuss things, share your suggestions, your concerns, your ideas. Like I said, my head alone is not going to get the job done, and I'm going to welcome any and all help I can get. And I'm also going to look at maybe having regularly scheduled office hours where people know I will be at that village office and they can find me there. And also, you're welcome to call me at home, 293-3838. If I don't happen to pick up the phone, leave a message. I'm in and out a lot of times, but I do listen to my messages and I do call back. I try not to ignore people. And I want to thank you for having me here today and look forward to serving this very caring community. They're part of my heart. Right. And I just love Newberry.
Well, Lori, you're welcome here anytime. In fact, we would like to work with you to where you could come down here on a bi-weekly basis or monthly and just talk with our audience.
Sure, that sounds great.
I'd love to have you down to do that.
Yeah,
Lori Stokes, everyone, we thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
M123fm.